1 month ago, a terrible explosion tore open the skies above northern Kalimdor. At that moment, the great ship Exodar plummeted from the heavens and crashed upon the world of Azeroth. Having fled the ravaged world of Outland, the noble Draenei used the dimension-traveling Exodar to reach safe haven. Inspired by tales of the heroic alliance that stood against the might of the Burning Legion, the Draenei have come to enlist aid in retaking their shattered homeland. Dedicated to preserving life and upholding the tenets of the Holy Light, the Draenei hope to gather a new coalition of warriors to battle the Burning Legion and put a halt to its horrific burning crusade. Armed only with courage and their unshakable faith in the light, the Draenei look forward to finding the Alliance and ushering them towards the destiny that awaits beyond the skies of Azeroth. Now, the fate of 2 worlds rests in your hands.
Those who came from the heavens. Such an amazing concept, an amazing choice of words to bring in the expansion, going into the sci-fi territory. I'm having a blast playing the Burning Crusade. I didn't know if I was gonna go into it because I care a lot about the medieval epic fantasy and going into sci-fi, which is also one of the reasons why I don't play Asian MMOs, because as good as they are and as good as their lores are, they go a little bit further from the traditional mythologies, from the traditional narratives of the world. And I believe that there's something very valuable about all these narratives, as I've been saying. But in any case, this idea of connecting these worlds of the heavens, which are also written in ancient scriptures, of it's this correlation with the quote-unquote heavens and the worlds beyond us, and to bring in the Draenei as these beings who are more evolved spiritually. They think about them as an alien race, and they present them to you as they came in the Exodar, this spaceship, which is, they use 2 very important words, interdimensional and from the heavens. And these Draenei are all are masters of the light. They understand the light much better than any Azerothian being. And it's such an amazing concept. I believe they've hit the nail with this expansion and trying to explain these themes and these aspects of the worlds of Azeroth, of the worlds of fantasies, arcane magic and fell magic and void and shadow and light, this encompassing energy, this all powerful universal reality which goes beyond Azeroth. That's what they present to you here. So it's not only about the humans and the dwarves trying to control this energy. It's a universal cosmological concept, and in classic it's very hard to follow narrative because the quests are not about narratives. They're all about killing people around you, but the theme and the lore is all encompassing, it's all around you, and you see all these little details. I know exactly what they're doing. The developers of this game are gone. Like the main minds behind all these lores and all these ideas are not in Blizzard, are not with Blizzard anymore. So they're trying to smooch every little penny they can from this, because they know that these first 3 expansions were a piece of art. But I don't really want to go into that. What I want to go into is why are they so successful? Why are they so important? This energy, this light in World of Warcraft can be equated in what other fantasy narratives or even the sci-fi narratives call it as the Force, this all-encompassing thing, this unified energy that is everywhere and in everything and can be mastered by humans and all the other beings in this world or in other worlds. It's the same thing. And now when we think about the Elder Scrolls, for example, it's a little bit different and a little bit more complex, which is why I love the Elder Scrolls as well. This is the Elder Scrolls themselves, where you open them and you see, as I made a reference in the previous video, previous lore video that I did, it's a reference of the norms of all the events in the world, of the very holographic nature of the world. So there's this encompassing energy that these fantasy narratives are trying to put forward. And now, as I've said, it is my theory that within these fantasy narratives we can see something hidden in the subconscious mind, because they are all overlapping each other, and these are the epic narratives also that the Greeks tried to brought forward. This idea of the hero, of this lonely individual who is trying to overcome all these dangers in the world and the world beyond and the underworld as well, going into the depths of hell and defeating Ragnaros and defeating the dragon within the cave is such an archetypal experience. People barely understand this anymore because it's all about min-maxing, and it's all about people putting self-worth into their characters because we have no other avenues to do this. We live in a very boring, very blunt world today, and people look into these fantasy narratives, and this is why people take time off work to get into these expansions, because there's nothing going on in a real world. Or all of our narratives, all of our religions, all of our mythologies, they have been replaced by a sea of nihilism that we barely understand. So when something so epic as World of Warcraft expansion comes about, people take time from their work, from their jobs, to play the goddamn expansion with gnomes in it. And well, this can be fun and exciting, and you can have a good time with your friends, and you can relax from the day. That's what I would recommend. Just play 2-3 hours at the end of your day. Do not play 8 hours per day. I mean, to each their own, but that's a good way to ruin the experience for you, in my opinion. In any case, if we look between the lines, and we read between the lines, if we look deeper into what they are trying to say, as I've been saying, they are trying to put forward a message. And I think the reason why some of these narratives are so successful is because they resonate with a truth hidden within us. It's the whole story between right and wrong, between good and evil. It's the stories in the scriptures, it's the stories of the snake, the stories of the dragon just lurking in the cave, as I said. Everything comes from something else. And now in the Burning Crusade, the whole thing is they're trying to explain. They're trying to explain evil, and they're trying to explain demons. As I said, these are stories of progeny, while we have all of our religions and mythologies trying to explain where the hell do us humans come from. Our fantasy narratives step in and they say, oh well, there's this great energy called the light, and is as mysterious as it is powerful, and not even the most ancient of civilizations, being the ones who were before the Draenei, the Eredar, know really what's going on. They were trying to, and they became advanced, and they gained all this technology and so on and so forth, but there was this other energy that wanted to destroy the universe. While the Draenei, these are these beings who are trying to preserve life, who are trying to create things, to live harmoniously, to conquer the powers of the arcane, and so on and so forth, trying to understand the mysteries of the universe, which is, by the way, is a very common theme in current ufology and in current, those people who are doing real research in the extraterrestrial phenomena. They say that these alien beings are trying to understand truly the mysteries of the universe, so they put this in the fantasy narratives as well. The Draenei were trying to understand the mysteries of creation, the mysteries of the universe, and there's this, while they become these force that are trying to preserve life, that are trying to to understand more. There's this counter force of evil who is trying to destroy everything, and this evil, as I believe they call it in World of Warcraft, is Sargeras, is the archetype of the fallen angel, who used to be a tyrant, used to be one of the main creators of this whole adventure, of this whole reality, one of the primordial forces, who became a rebel to the plan for X, Y, or Z reasons, and now he wants to destroy creation itself. And it's the same story that we are seeing in the Shadowlands. The jailer wants to destroy creation, and there's this life force. Okay, there's this light, this righteousness, this force in the Star Wars, for example, that is trying to prevent this, that is trying to keep the game going, that is trying to keep the cycle of reincarnation that the the fairy beings in Ardenweald are trying to protect so much. It's an all-encompassing narrative that repeats over and over and over. So now you go through the Dark Portal, such a cool name, the Dark Portal, and I think it's such a cheeky way in which Blizzard, the previous developers, made it out for all of these min-maxer players who were bored of raiding the same raids and doing the same PvP, go into a whole new world. How do you do it? Do you create a spaceship? What do you do? Well, you make a portal and they can just go through it and they are in this new world. When I started playing, I thought I was gonna have a quest or something. No, you literally just go through the portal and you're in a new world, and they barely explain to you what's going on. This is one of the things that I'm saying. There's not a lot of narrative in there, but the theme is bloody fantastic. So what do you see in this portal? You see demons trying to cross over the world, ready to destroy it. Where do demons come from? Well, they come from another dimension. They come through a portal. Now, this is another interesting theme in all these fantasy narratives. Now, in Skyrim, in Elder Scrolls, in all these fantasy narratives, there's this idea of summoning, of bringing forward something from another dimension, and they mentioned this at the beginning of the Draenei, area. They say these were interdimensional travelers. So, and all throughout the Aulan, because the Aulan used to be the home of the Draenei. It's not like the outline is where demons come from. It's like they developed these portals and they invaded there. So these demons invade through portals. They come from a different dimension, and such as the Draenei, they can travel through these dimensions. Now this is something a bit of an interesting thing that I want to put in this video, is that, as I said, I've been doing all this research in real life. In the current research of ufology, you have this idea that they're not traveling through space. Space is really not as important and as some other things. They are traveling through dimensions and through time. It is kind of mind-blowing. But as I've been saying, our fantasy narratives have this in every game. Where does the human mind comes with the idea of these portals, of this summoning, of these rites to bring beings from another dimension into our reality? Was this all made up? Why does every fantasy narrative has this? Well, some real research is pointing towards this idea, but in any case, I'm not gonna go truly deep into this. What I found very cool is that it's the same epic narrative. You go through the Dark Portal and you meet the Draenei, you meet an order of priests who have the remainder of who are some of the last survivors from all this incursion that the demons had in their land, in their home. And they take you through a little quest called the Path of Glory, where you are to sanctify the remains. There's a path leading, I think, into their, the demon's base or something like that. So there's all these remains from the Draenei who are just buried there and just so so undignified, and you are to sort of like redeem them with some Draenei holy water, which is something that I found completely interesting. interesting because, you know, you're correlating. So the whole thing about paladins and the holy light and the priests and whatnot, it comes from the Templar narrative, from the whole holy warrior from the medieval era, where they were real crusaders who believed, who were like Christian fanatics, and they would go into crusades and so on and so forth. So they correlate in these. So you have Draenei priests with holy water redeeming these you know, these remains from their fallen brothers, and you know, it's tying these religious sort of mythologic ideas and themes with the ideas of the outer world, of the worlds beyond us, of aliens and so on and so forth. So there are real connections made with all these ancient scriptures, and even Christianity itself having to do with some you know, extra human, extra terrestrial phenomena, which I'm not gonna go into, but it's quite interesting that in their fantasy there, you know, you start seeing the connection. It made sense. It made absolute sense to connect all of these paranormal and all of these weird magic and all of these things with the outer worlds. I mean, the very name of the place that you are in is called Hellfire Peninsula, and what do you see? You see a barren world, reddish and all destroyed, with fire all around and all sorts of demons, and you know, like these corrupted orcs just walking all over the place. So it's like the world of Ragnarok. It's like molten core brought. It's like if Ragnarok had won in Azeroth, Azeroth would have turned into a hell. So there's this force that is corrupting worlds. There's this evil force, these demonic influences that are trying to take over worlds and destroy them. This is the basic narrative of all the narratives. It's the angels versus demons. There's righteousness versus evil. It's light versus shadow. Something like that. It's very, very keen, very interesting. Now, have I mentioned that I've been having fun in the Burning Crusade? It's so amazing. These areas are just mind-blowing, especially for the time that they were put in, the time where they were imagined and just created. It's just bloody amazing. And I had the same situation as I had in Classic. I just found people who were trying to lead me into the world and show me places, and I had a friend bring me to Shatra, which I thought was amazing. We went through this like sort of like Razor Fan something. I remember that dungeon in Classic, and you go through this Night Elf area and you go into the big city, which seems to be some sort of a safe spot, a safe place. And as soon as you walk in, they tell you sort of the story. They say this is a place that was warded off from the demons by the Naaru, and they begin to explain to you who the Naaru are. It's like if you have never seen a Naaru, you're in for something special, because this is something special in this. So you go in there, and now, by the way, as I said, I didn't want to play the sci-fi expansion because I wanted to stay on the medieval fantasy and so on. I read about the Naaru, these abstract beings. So I was so excited to go into Shelter, and all these little details, you see all people from all over the place. Right now that the expansion is packed, it's just amazing. It just feels lively, and you see the Scryers and the Elder and so on and so forth, and you're just basically out there just asking for the directions to see where to go. So, as I was with my friend, he was explaining to me a little things about the city and the Scryers and the Elder, and I just kind of peeked into the center of the city, and I see this huge abstract being of light, who is supposed to be Adal or Adal, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. And I'm like just mind blown that I finally get to see this Naaru, this idea that it has been escaping, as I've been saying. I studied these whole things, and this idea of abstract beings of light is no stranger to the real research on paranormal phenomena. So there you are, in front of this fantastic being, perhaps contemplating within a simulation, in a simulation, some piece of the subconscious mind emerging and trying to tell you a story. you get closer to this being, and it, you know, you read the quest, you click on it, and it says, oh, you feel safety, you feel this amazing power, you feel chimes of music which go straight into your mind. So it's a paranormal phenomena that you're experiencing. You're experiencing a transformational. You're having a transformational experience. That they call it. There's a term for it in research. I cannot remember when. It's not people who have near-death experience. It's not people who have out-of-body experience or anything like that. It's just a transformational experience where you just understand it. So it's just being in the presence of this huge being, which is basically an abstract form, a geometric shape going back and forward. It's simply a mandala of light. And you know, then you go talk to Khadgar, and he says like, this is the wisest being that you probably have been in presence with. Like, this is, I've learned more from this being in 5 months than being years in the Dalaran's largest library or something of that nature. So the game and the story is putting you in this situation where you're having an encounter with an alien being. You don't even notice this, but you are having an encounter with an alien being that is beyond your current understanding of reality. So then you go into the most perfect quest in the World of Warcraft. I know people just abhor these quests because you basically follow an NPC which you cannot RP walk behind or run because you'll outrun him, and if you RP walk behind, you're gonna get behind. It's so silly, but it's so amazing because they're trying to tell you the story. You're still in shock of meeting this being, and then you go with Khadgar. This Khadgar guy, I think he's very important in the lore. I'm sorry, I don't know all about the lore. I know about the theme. I know where all these things come from. I don't know much about the lore. I think this is the main mage who got here, who started this whole thing, coming into this outland, into this alien world to destroy the earth, something like that. But in any case, he gives you this weird summoned creature which tells you all about the story of Shatra and how it began, and the whole thing about the Aldor and the Scryers. And you go to this tour in the city, and they tell you, oh, there was a war here, and there was these situations going on here, and the Aldor, this order of priests from the drain, from the remainder, and there was this war with the Blood Elves, and the Blood Elves, there was a faction which they saw this Naaru, and the Blood Elf leader said, I saw you in my dreams, you were the one who is gonna save my race, my people. And so they sort of got into a truce, and they live harmoniously in this area where the Naaru managed to cleanse from the demons. And so you see this whole, again, this cosmology, this universal story where it's the right good versus evil, the righteous versus evil. And I know that somewhere along the story the Naaru have a bit of an evil side, which makes it also very interesting, and which goes into the balance of these endless forces. You know, as I said in the Elder Scrolls, they manage the idea of Anu and Padme, which is a correct balance of the forces, the Ouroboros and whatnot. So in any case, you go through these quests and they tell you the whole story, which is bloody amazing. And you know, going to the RPG, like just starting at this point, and I'm just level 62, like literally level 62, 2 levels. And it's, I mean, I love the idea of the Shadowlands. I love the lore, and these they're trying to do a good job trying to imagine the afterlife. I'll see if the next expansion is good. I will see, I don't know. But right here, you're already having like these mystical experiences at level freaking 62. Oh, well, maybe I should have gone into level 63 or 64 before coming to this city, but in any case, it's all right here. Despite all of this, you go back to the Naaru, you go back to that room, and they tell you that these two factions are fighting to please the Naaru, because the Naaru are just these beings who are starting things and moving things around and doing all these things. And it's pretty cool, it's very massive, it's very nice. But why? Why am I so excited about the Naaru? Why do I put so much emphasis? I know, I've been nerding out for like 20 minutes about the story of the Burning Crusade, which basically, it's very basic. You barely see it. You have to actually pay attention to it. And I know that a lot of people a lot of people are trying to enjoy this experience. They understand the RPG elements. A lot of people sadly are just going through min-maxing and spamming dungeons and just looking for the most efficient thing, because there's something very weird, but that's a social issue that I don't want to go into right now. It has to do with people not having avenues to express themselves and feeling self-worth through their performance in video games. It has to do with the gaming culture that we currently have. But why am I so excited about the Naaru? Why did I make such fuss about that? As I say, this channel, it's my lore channel, but it's not really about the lore about the games. It's about correlating real life research and mythologies and the actual what might be behind the lores, what might be behind the religions and the mythologies, and how they connect to these lores. How do ancient mythologies and perhaps the realities of the universe connect to the lores that are trying to explain this story of progeny, this story of who we are as humans? And you know, this expansion, the Burning Crusade, this opens the idea that it's not only about already the world of Azeroth just gave us the idea of other races, of orcs, of idols and so on, and it is the words. All through the lore is the idea of these aliens, these people from another world, but in the Burning Crusade they push it a little bit forward. So who are these Naaru? Well, these are these beings of light. And now, as I've been saying, and I went through the channel with this, if you go into near-death experiences, you get to altered state of consciousness experiences, you find people who are saying that when they go into this altered state, like, we have thousands upon thousands and maybe now millions, and people in the 60s started researching this, doctors and scientists and philosophers, and it's barely coming forward right now. It's been barely coming forward for the last 5 years. Just Google their experiences, Google all these things that I'm saying. People are reporting meeting beings, usually of light, and meeting beings who have all this experience that they said about the Naaru. They hear the chimes. Why is the chimes? Why is it this little music? Even when you go to Bastion in the Shadowlands expansion, you hear the chimes, the divine toll. What does this have to do with this vibration? In the Elder Scrolls, how did the Dwemer disappeared? I didn't get to make this video, but I was gonna make a video about the Moth Priests and how there's a correlation with vibration. I mean, if you go to Blackridge, which is a place underneath the Skyrim, and there's all sort of paranormal things going on. It has to do with vibration, and this is not fantasy, it's not anything. This is about the dynamics in the universe. So we're speaking about mandalas of light. So if you go into the scriptures, you go into these reports, people are reporting these beings of light which are abstract in nature, more related to geometric shapes. Now if you go into the study of entheogens, you'll find these people talking about these geometric shapes who share secrets with them, who tells them about the nature of reality, the nature of the universe. And as I've been saying, it's not one or two people, it's thousands upon thousands, and there's current research on this. So when I see these beings of light just, you know, sharing the secrets of the universe with alien races who are more advanced than us spiritually and technologically and whatnot, of course I'm gonna get excited, because I'm seeing this in the real research. And I've been I've been going on about this for too long now. It's almost 30 minutes in this video, so I'm just gonna end it with this. What you think might be just fantasy narratives and nonsense and just whatever, and let's just min-max it, let's just spam dungeons so I can be like big D, DPS and whatnot. You're doing a huge disservice to yourself. Pay attention to the lore, because hidden within it might be mysteries of the most important things in life. If you would like to know more about the lore surrounding these fantasy narratives and how they perhaps connect to real life theories and philosophies, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, as I will try to find these connections and explore the possibilities that these lores can provide. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.